Hello, Cyber Faces. Terracin, your favorite cyber bitch here. And yes, we were supposed to go on last night, but shit happened. So here we are tonight. As normal, I have with me my baby brother, the Chunky Monkey. Kelt, that's you.
Oh, hi.
Stop playing video games.
No, you said Chunky Monkey. I was like, I don't know a Chunky Monkey.
You are the Chunky Monkey. I have even told Ranting Monkey this.
Yeah, my name's American Kale, not Chunky Monkey.
Well, it's Chunky Monkey now. And of course, we have the one, the only Scooby331.
Hey. I actually have to mute for a second because I can hear my wife bellowing like a sheep from across the house. Give me a second.
Alrighty. So, tonight's topics: animal abuse database, naked crash, animal rights criminals, and more. So, let's see here. Let me pull up Samsung Internet. Go away. Let's see here. That would be over here. My Samsung. Not there. Okay. Yeah, I have everything saved on my phone because I do most of my social media via my phone. All right, let's see here. All right, animal abuse database. Animal abuse database approved in Volusia County. And Volusia County is in Florida. Volusia County, those convicted of abusing a dog or a cat in Volusia County, or pretty much any other animal, will be found in an online database. On Monday, the Volusia County Council unanimously voted to create an online registry that lists convicted animal abusers, including their picture, date of birth, and a description of their violation, in hopes of ensuring the crime won't happen again. The database is scheduled to go live on June 1st, 2019, so it's live already, on the Volusia County website. The result of Ponce's Law, which Port Orange resident Debbie De Niro pioneered. She also led this local effort to adopt the registry. Now let's see. I'm taking a look at the Volusia County website. Talking about heavy mosquitoes, beach combs. Let's see, services, maybe? Services.
What is this now?
This is the Volusia County Animal Abuse Database.
Oh.
I'm not finding the database. Maybe it's under government. No, it's not listed. Thought this shit was supposed to go on already. Businesses. Oh. County Council.
They didn't like my solution for these people, the repeat offenders, the animal abusers.
Kill them?
No, not kill them. I just said after
I found it. It's under services, and then you click on animal control, and it has animal abuse database. Let's see. Animal abuse database. Animal abuse is a serious issue of public concern. The public has expressed concerns over the placement of pets into homes where past abuse has occurred. Because quite honestly, it's easy to hide that shit. This listing is intended to be used as a tool by those involved with the placement of animals. The animal abuse database will include public record information extracted from the Volusia County Clerk of the Court. This listing is therefore limited in the scope of county for the Volusia. Individuals convicted of a felony or misdemeanor crime involving an animal are listed for a 10-year period. Shit, they need to list them for life. So I'd have to click the agree button, which I'm not really wanting to go onto their database, but it is up and running. Let's get back to the article.
So what, is this new, this database?
Yes, it went active June 1st.
Good.
This is one more step to keep these animals, meaning the pet, the sweet fuzzy creatures, out of the hands of abusers. I know each of you are animal lovers. I can't imagine not wanting to take that extra step to help our animals that are being abused or tortured in ways you can't believe. She said her work isn't done yet, though. She's excited and grateful for Lucia's approval of the registry. 61 Florida counties still don't have a tool for tracking abusers. I want to get all the counties in Florida to implement one, Denario said in an interview. She plans to lobby the cause to the Florida Association of Counties. I want to push for this statewide. If this just saves one animal, I'm happy. So that's that one. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, there's a database for sex offenders. No matter how minimal or whether it's a lie or not, they're put on that registry and they're on there for life.
Wait, even if it's a lie?
Even if it's a lie.
Yeah, some Scarlet Letter shit.
Yeah. A lot of the times the guys will plead no contest because that's what their public defender suggests they do, and that's an admission of guilt. So it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I actually, I don't talk to him anymore because, well, he moved out of the state last I knew. But I had a friend that it was a complete lie. And because I knew for a fact it was a lie, he was never around this woman's kids. And she claimed he messed with him, and well, all she had to do was say that, and he was arrested, sent to prison because his public defender said, if you plead no contest, you'll just get like 30 days in jail and you won't be put on the sex offender list. And he believed them. He ended up 5 years in prison and put on the sex offender list for life. So, yeah.
Sometimes they use it like a cudgel, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like my nephew, when he was in, the girl he was with, she had a lot of shit wrong with her. So she went and she went to the police and she got him arrested. And, you know, he's sitting in there and they didn't have any evidence and he had a lawyer and they had him in there like for a couple of months. And he wasn't worried about it. He wasn't shook. He even said to me, he's like, I got no problem. It's just a pain in the ass. I could be working right now. I told him, I said, look, don't cop the plea. I said, the state just wants to have right to you. That's all that is. They want to make you their property. And he didn't cop the plea, and sure enough, it was bullshit. But they kept him in there for something like 9 months. Bunch of horse shit. He wasn't too upset, though. When he got out, it was the beginning of the spring, so he was able to catch the season immediately. But still, he said he was pissed off. They took him at the height of his season, you know?
Yeah, I know.
And a lot of times that, especially with that Me Too shit nowadays is, yes, me. I think a lot of what they're doing with this sex offender shit and this hashtag Me Too, it's basically certain people, if they're a little bit unable to be handled, well, fuck it. We'll just hashtag Me Too your ass and silence you. That's how it looks to me.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree with Mike Pence. Hi, can I catch the elevator with you? Nah, take the stairs, lady. Fuck off. Seriously. It's gotten to that point with these crazy people. And it's not all women. Let me just say this right now, but gentlemen, if you see a woman and she's getting into the elevator and she's dressed all frumpy, she has a dour expression, horn rimmed glasses, and fucking blue hair, run for the hills. Just saying.
Good thing I don't have horn rim glasses or blue hair right now.
You don't dress all frumpy.
When I'm at home, I do.
Frumpy, in my idea, is like, those girls that for whatever reason they wear those weird looking pea coat sweater vest mutant things with the big bow on it.
Oh,
Like,
God,
what's her
no.
name? Yeah, like, what's her name? Big Red. I'm talking outfits like that.
No. I mean, most of the time, I'll be honest, I wear my pajama pants damn near everywhere because they're comfortable.
Yeah, that's fine. That's casual. That's not frumpy.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people call it frumpy, and I'm just like, you're not in the clothes. I don't care.
Excuse me for going.
I like
It's
my
not the
pajama
company.
pants. There's a reason why I have so many.
I prefer camouflage pants myself. Not
Well,
not so much camouflage. BDUs. I prefer BDUs. They're comfortable.
well, that's because you have to hide in bushes and hide from Antifa.
True. I actually stopped wearing the regular camouflage ones just because of my height and build. I had people, coming up to me and they're like, "Thank you for your service," and I had to stop and say to them, "I'm not a veteran. I had these. They don't issue these camouflage anymore.
Yeah,
You know, they,
at Army surplus stores, they only sell. They still sell the plain olive green from
mhm.
Korea. They'll sell the camo like what Burnside was putting on his tank the other night
Yeah,
because that's no longer used. But you can't civilian wise buy the BDUs and all that are with the what a lot of the Army boys call TV static print.
yeah, yeah. The digital camo.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't want you, especially if it's current use standard issue.
yeah. If it's been retired, you're good.
Yeah, like I've been saying for years. I was a little bit disappointed they were retiring them again. I'm glad that the military is all branches of service this year. I believe they're streamlining where all of their uniforms are going to look identical. That's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard. Excuse me. So I guess that's good, but in a way, I feel bad because they're actually retiring the blueberries. That was, if you ever seen the movie Battleship, Rihanna is the only actor or actress in the movie who I actually remember that was even in that movie. But if you see, like, she's in that movie, the uniforms they're wearing, the term that they use for them, it's obviously jargon. It's the blueberry uniform, just because it looks like a standard issue uniform, but blue. Always liked those uniforms, and it's just such a shame they're retiring them.
Well, after so long, they gotta like keep up with the style.
I know, it's just I like that color scheme. But, and somebody who I was talking to who was an old salt, he looks at me, he goes like this, "We've been trying to get them to get rid of those since they issued them." And I gave him a look. He's like, "What happens when you fall overboard?" I go, "Oh." He said, "Yeah, camouflage doesn't exactly work good in an ocean." I said, "All right, that makes a good point then."
This is true.
I had said actually to somebody once, I said, why do they have them in those blue uniforms? And they said, well, they're on the ocean. I said, right, but the ships are gray. Right?
They used to camouflage the ships.
No, I know. I remember when they used to have the old theme that they used to do. But I'm just saying, like, if you want to really camouflage the guys, you have them in gray uniforms and that match the ship.
Yeah.
That's just would make sense to me. Because if you ever see those ships, the first thing you notice when they come into port, you see all the flags. Then the second thing you see is all of the crewmen in their uniforms because they contrast the ship. Like if I was on an enemy ship, I just look for all of the dots that don't match the color of the ship running back and forth when we're attacking, and I'd start shooting at those dots because when you get close up, those dots turn out to be people. I don't know. That to me, it's just common sense. Like if you look at military uniforms through the centuries for the past, I don't know, forever. They always had the higher you went in rank, the more ornate and dressed up the person was. And I asked my father once, I said, hey, Dad, how come they had the generals and everybody as so ornate? I said, because if I was on the battlefield, that's who I'd look for. And he said, oh, yeah, that's exactly what it was for. It was so you would look for them. He said, and this is the thing. There was an understanding back then that you don't shoot the officers because it turns into chaos. I said, oh. He said, what happened? He said, well, America happened. And we figured out you start shooting the officers, you win the war. I said, oh, okay. Do you know that really is how we won the Revolutionary War? We just started smoking their officers. Mm-hmm. They're all coming at us in rows with the drums, and we were doing the guerrilla warfare shit, running around at them.
I think the muskets that the Revolutionary used also had a better range than the British.
Yeah.
Some of them were rifled.
Yeah, they were using basically, like you said, just standard smoothbore muskets. But the Americans had
flintlock rifles.
Yeah, well they had squirrel guns, they had shotguns, scatter guns. They had, and literally you could use like one of those, the scatter guns, which was an old fashioned, it looked like a shotgun, but the end of the thing was like a trumpet. And you could put ball shot in that. And basically what that is take basically a boiled egg and shoot it at somebody. That's how big those things were. Like the ball shot that you could put in that thing. It didn't have a lot of range. It was probably about half the range of but Jesus, it's like shooting a hand cannon at somebody.
I saw an interesting way to use those blunderbusses in Turn.
Mm-hmm.
The privateer of the group, he was in the battle that got what was his name? General Charles fired. But he pointed his blunderbuss in the air, fired, and took out an entire line of soldiers. He pretty much used it as a mortar.
Yeah. That's the thing I was thinking of, a blunderbuss. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name of it.
I'd never seen someone use a shotgun like that before.
Oh, yeah. Always love those things. It's a shame, though, when you think about it. Once the Civil War ended, because I've been looking a lot into it lately because of our political climate. And you can't help but look at the technology and everything else that happened, but a lot of people don't realize you had trench warfare in there, like you had during during World War One.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how much shit changed, like during that war, because during that war was when they first introduced the Winchester repeating rifle, and right after the Civil War ended is when we really...
The American Civil War is considered to be the first modern war because it brought in all kinds of things, I think it brought in the Minet ball.
Yeah, exactly.
The first machine gun.
The first use of the first wide-scale use of rifling.
The iron hides.
Yeah.
A submarine.
Well,
That
iron
actually sank a
battleships.
ship.
Iron battleships with the CSS Manassas and
Yeah,
the
that was the
USS
that was
Monitor.
the Ironhides, or was it Ironsides?
Ironsides.
Yeah, but there
No,
was also they also introduced this submarine that actually sank a ship.
yeah. When you said iron hides, I thought you were specifically talking about they actually made a thing of this, selling it in New York. That they were selling armor and chainmail that you could wear underneath your uniform into battle because the Blue Blood Brigade was all of New York's elites, and they wore this special iron hide armor, this plate mail armor underneath their uniforms because they were one of those ones. They did the real Napoleonic thing with the slow march, everyone like stepping in line, and the clicking of the heels in the boots because they're rich people. And so it was so they could stand there and show off their pomp and take shots. In other words, they could get shot at. It was so, in other words, they could be like, oh, look at me, I'm tough. Meanwhile, they're wearing this armor underneath. But they didn't realize because of the Minet ball and the rifling, the armor was useless. So they were getting shot anyway. That's the name of it. The proper name of it was the Excelsior Brigade. I couldn't remember it.
I think there was also the canned rations that they introduced.
Yeah. What else did they come out with for that war? Well, I mean, bullets.
That was the Minet ball. It was
after that. The Minet ball, I think they came out with was, I believe, 45. That they came out with it. It was, I think, right on the heels actually of the Spanish-American War. That's actually what pushed it. And no, excuse me, Spanish-American, the Mexican-American War. I believe that. I want to say that was from 42 to 46, maybe 47, the Mexican-American War. And the Minet ball, I believe, came out in 45 in France, but we didn't get it over here until, I want to say, 52. But by that point, by the time that we had adopted the Minet ball, and that's when they would give you the powder packs. And it was, you remember how during the Revolutionary War, it was wadding, powder, shot, and you'd have to do the whole
introduction of the bullet cartridge.
Right, and you take the Minet ball and you take the cartridge and you rip the cartridge.
Bite the bullet.
Yeah,
that's where
the term comes from. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's also where you got 4F for military because you had they didn't have their 4 front teeth to pull the pack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched R. Lee Ermey's Lock and Load, which was about the evolution of different weapons, and I learned about that from the evolution of the bullet.
I just knew it because we would talk about it at dinner at this house. What dinner time conversation was in this house was either military tactics and strategy or DOT regulations or the newest Department of Agriculture regulations for fishing game. My family had very dull conversations at dinner. We always talked business. But, yeah, because I remember they had bullets and they had the Winchester repeating rifle. It had come out in time for the war, and Lincoln himself had approved it.
Actually, it wasn't that they could have used the repeaters. They were worried that well, the thing is, they were worried that the soldiers would not accurately fire these rifles. They just take a shot and duck behind cover and just rinse and repeat. They were worried that the massive expenditure of ammo would bankrupt them.
Exactly. And they also said it was going to affect the soldiers' aim because they felt if they had more shots, they would take shots.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They spray and pray with a lever action.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the irony is, if anyone of them actually ever even held and used the lever action, you'd realize once you've committed to all of the motions to get the shot ready, the only way to properly pull off a shot with a lever action is to actually draw it into the position where you have it held with your eye trained down the sights. Mm-hmm. You can't really shoot a lever action handheld unless you're just going to fire a shot off, because just from the way the gun is designed, you're better off just lining the shot up anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's just such a long gun, and the stock on it, unless you have a stockless one, but it's a lever action. Why the fuck would you want one that don't have a stock? You know, it's just a stock weapon to me. It makes sense to draw the thing up, tilt your head, you know, and look through the sights and fire.
Yeah, there were some that were issued lever actions, and it did turn the tide of one battle, but they were never a standard issue in the war.
Right. Again, I don't know why they didn't. It would just make sense.
They were worried about being bankrupt because they were firing too many shots and not getting enough hits.
Okay, can we get to my story now?
Yeah,
Sure.
sorry, we were long-winded.
All right, now to meet the animal rights activist facing prison time for rescuing ducks, piglets from factory farms.
Oh, is this the one that hung himself?
Yeah. Nearly 100 animal rights activists were freed today after being arrested by police in riot gear for carrying out a rescue mission and protest at Richard Duck Farm in Petaluma, California, which they accuse of engaging in animal torture. More than 600 activists with direct action everywhere stormed the slaughterhouse. No, they didn't storm. They fucking trespassed. They snuck around the back and snuck in. There is footage of this because them dumb fuckers recorded everything.
Yeah, that video was cringy with like that lead guy trying to act cool, like he's in some kind of squad.
Yeah. Let's see. Fanning out in teams to chain themselves together at the entrance, freeing dozens of ducks, and in some cases locking themselves by the neck to the slaughter line. Yeah, that was real fucking smart. One of them chained himself, and after they asked somebody to turn off the conveyor belt, and someone, after they got themselves chained up, and then someone was like, "Why the fuck is the conveyor belt turned off?" And they turned it back on. And one guy got pulled close to a pole; it almost took his head off.
Damn it.
So that they're probably going to try and sue the slaughterhouse for that, when in truth they look that's fucking fantastic.
They're going to sue. Hold on, these people who hung themselves on the slaughter rack are going to sue the company.
Plus, they were trespassing, and then one of the guys, because I watched the entire video and I laughed my ass off. One of the guys was citing that they were allowed to be there because of penal code what the fuck ever.
Yeah, I remember him
saying these people were doing torturous things, and then their quote-unquote lawyer was saying how they had undercover footage. Okay, well, you go through the proper authorities. You do not have legal right to just go onto someone's property.
I don't think it allows for vigilante
property. Some of these activists tried to get into this warehouse, which I'm pretty sure either had the piglets or the ducks in it, and they were being blocked off. The door was being shut, and they forced it open and pushed their way past. That's fucking breaking and entering. So not only are they trespassing, not only are they damaging property, not only are they stealing property, they're breaking and entering.
The trick is to see if they actually prosecute. I'm not going to keep my fingers crossed. I'd like to see them prosecute, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Several of the activists made it inside the slaughterhouse, where they began to rescue ducks that were hanging upside down by their feet. Well, they were about to be slaughtered, so duh. Inside the slaughterhouse, the activists began using U-locks on their own necks, locking themselves to the metal duct slaughtering production line. An employee of the slaughterhouse then turned on the belt, threatening the lives of the activists and nearly asphyxiating Thomas Chang, who was dragged by the neck and wedged against a metal pole. Again, you interrupted their business day. Now, I wouldn't feel this pissy on the side of the slaughterhouse if you had done this in the middle of the night and these people came into this. Seriously, I would have been okay with that. But you interrupted people's jobs. That's not right.
Can you imagine the guy was black? They'd probably be claiming they tried to lynch him.
Chang was later taken by ambulance and treated for nerve damage and severe pain. Well, that's your own fucking fault. He's since been released from the hospital. We speak with Priya Shani and Wang Hussein, co-founder and lead organizers at Direct Action Everywhere. Hussein was arrested during Monday's action and was released late Wednesday. He's facing a total of 17 felony charges in jurisdictions around the country for his animal rescue actions. Shani is also facing felony charges. Now, I'm turning up the volume on my phone so that you guys can hear it before I press play, because otherwise, if I don't do this, everyone in the house will hear this. Give me just a second.
This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
We end today's show in Northern California, where nearly 100 animal rights activists are free today after being arrested for carrying out a rescue mission and protest at Reichardt Duck Farm in Petaluma, which they accuse of animal torture. More than 600 activists with Direct Action Everywhere stormed the slaughterhouse Monday, fanning out in teams to chain themselves together at the entrance, freeing dozens of ducks and in some cases locking themselves by the neck to the slaughter line. Several of the activists made it inside the slaughterhouse, where they began trying to rescue ducks that were hanging upside down by their feet.
Stay in your team! Vans are free to move out. Michael, stay in place to act as animal care receptacle. Over. You're good to go. Splitting off. Red team's with me. Mark's able to hustle a little bit more and do this. Over. Try to get him off here. Gotta figure out how to stop this.
Inside the slaughterhouse, the activists began using U-locks on their own necks, locking themselves to the metal duck slaughtering production line. In a shocking move, an employee of the slaughterhouse then turned on the belt, threatening the lives of the activists and nearly asphyxiating one man who was dragged by his neck and wedged against a metal pole. You can hear panicked organizers frantically working to unlock him in this next video. A warning to our viewers, this footage is disturbing.
Oh my God! You're okay. You're okay. The key. What number is this lock? What number is this lock? This is 8, not 7. That's not 7. 8. It's 8.
The activist, Thomas Chang, was taken away by ambulance and treated for nerve damage and severe pain. He's since been released from the hospital. Police, armed with riot gear, arrested 98 activists who participated in the action. Despite numerous complaints, authorities have yet to investigate the Petaluma factory and slaughterhouse. Activists, however, have been repeatedly arrested, with many facing multiple felony charges and, if convicted, decades in prison. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and co-founder of The Intercept, Glenn Greenwald, praised Monday's action, tweeting, "The real criminality is the systemic torture and slaughter of billions of animals in the cruelest, filthiest, most sadistic conditions. It breaks multiple laws, but the police protect the corporate criminals and instead arrest those saving lives," Greenwald tweeted. Well, for more, we're joined right now by two guests. Priya Sahani is one of the co-founders and lead investigator of Direct Action Everywhere, known as DXE. She's speaking to us from Las Vegas. Wayne Hsiung is co-founder and lead organizer for DXE, former law professor. He was arrested during Monday's action, was released late Wednesday. He's facing a total of 17 felony charges in jurisdictions around the country for his animal rescue actions. Priya is also facing felony charges. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Wayne and Priya, thank you for joining us. Wayne, you just got out of jail. Can you explain exactly what this...
All right, that goes on for a little bit more. But it's just completely stupid. It really, really is. I mean,
What do you expect? They're
dumb shit.
leftists. They're leftists. This is what they do. Yeah, I remember when I used to live, upstate. There was a lot of hippies up there, and they would do dumb shit like this constantly. They would, you get a lot of them who were from down here, and they would talk about when they would go into. This was a big thing in the 90s, mind you, with like PETA. They would go into Manhattan, and if they seen a woman wearing a fur coat, they would throw red paint on her. This is just something these idiots used to do. They do dumb shit, and they would. I remember once I seen them, they were out front of a KFC, and they were chasing the people who were getting their food. Just crazy shit these people do. I mean, the fact that they chain themselves up to the slaughterhouse conveyor belt, that's not something I'd be surprised that they did. They do crazy shit like that constantly. I'm of the mind where if they're going to chain themselves to, let's say, construction equipment like bulldozers or cement mixers or anything of that nature, just start the machinery. That's all. Just slowly roll along and drag them down across the work site. I mean, to me, they knew the risk. They chained themselves to it. Hell with them then. I mean, why are you going to sit there and worry about it? I mean, you have insurance. They're trespassing. They said, okay, you're going to have to start this thing with me attached to it. Okay, just don't back up. Drive slowly. Keep it at 5 miles an hour and drag them all over the yard. The way I look at it. You guys really got to start drinking Red Bull.
Who?
The two of yous.
Oh no, I'm wide awake.
I know. I'm just saying you're both so quiet tonight.
Well, you won't stop talking.
Because you never speak.
No, I'm just busy doing something real quick.
I hear that. Well, Kelt, you can interject,
All right. Let me think of something.
See, there you go. And then there was silence. Except for my mother's loud
Concentration
mouth.
camps.
Oh, you mean Ocasio-Cortez? Yeah, her and her.
Yeah, ambition over constituents.
Oh God, do you know how much that girl annoys me? I mean, completely fucking annoys me.
Yeah, her constituents don't like her either.
I'm just so glad. Think about this. Think about the fucking poster boys we've had for my state in the past few years. Chuck Schumer, Kristen Gillibrand, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and who is that big one? A really big representative we had from here. Hillary Clinton. These are the ones that these people will parade all over the place. But the most important one, the one from here that's in the White House, yeah, they don't talk about them. But this dingbat, that's the face of my state now. I preferred that they actually associated my state with Cuomo before they associate with her. Seriously. Because she's not just stupid, she's arrogant about it. It bothers the shit out of me. Fucking googly-eyed idiot, that's who she is. You know what my biggest fear is? My biggest fear is that Bernie Sanders is going to run and pick her as his running mate. He's going to die. Yeah, and he'll die his first week in office. And then we're under friggin' dictatorship of Red Cortez.
Well, I mean, in this election, I don't think
she's too young. She's too young to be president, but I'm not sure about the stipulations for vice president.
Well, if Bernie were to die, wouldn't that make her president?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure how it will work because in order to
be president, if you have to be at least 35 to be president, then I doubt she can be vice president if it runs the risk of her becoming president.
I had always heard specifically 36, double the voting age.
I heard it was 35.
No, I know you're not the first person to tell me this. I've had this talk with a few people, but I'd always remembered since I was a kid, it was double the voting age for whatever reason.
I think it might have been to make it easier for you to remember. I mean,
probably.
It's close enough to 35.
Yeah.
35.
Yeah. I guess that's probably why they taught the kids that it
no
was
person
36.
except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of adoption of the Constitution shall be eligible for the office of president. Neither
have
shall
to be within
any person be eligible into that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident.
I wanted to ask,
in the United States.
Doesn't that now was Ted Cruz born on embassy soil up in Calgary?
Not last I knew.
Because I know that there was some reason that he was able to get he was able to run for president was, because his parents, this is the thing. His parents weren't naturally born American citizens. His parents were Cubans. So I don't know how the fuck he figured out something, but because his parents were American citizens, and for whatever reason, when he was born up in Canada, it did not negate him being able to run for president. I just would like to figure out how the hell that worked. Because I remember that was one of the things people wanted to change because they wanted Schwarzenegger at one point to run for president.
Oh, that was referenced in Demolition Man.
Yeah. But to be fair, they wanted him to run for president before he was governor of California.
Yeah. The way things are now, I would rather not risk it.
Yeah.
Because say we get like some celebrity from, I don't know, Germany. Or one of the European countries that does not like freedom of speech.
I'll be honest with you. I want them to actually start changing a lot of the stipulations. Like, that fucking donkey tooth bitch that they have in there now. What is she
Which
from?
one?
She's from Minnesota. Ilhan Omar?
Oh.
Something some people did? Nah, fuck you. Go back over there and make something out of clay. Seriously, go make a wicker basket. What the fuck are you doing in my Congress? You know what? I don't particularly care where the fuck they're from on the planet. They shouldn't be in that fucking house. They're not born here. I'm sorry. That's my view on it. That's always been my view on it. Why the fuck are we letting foreigners up in that house? Just to let you know, I mean, I'm equal opportunity. The guy could sit up there and say, oh, be Jesus and be God. Ladies and gentlemen of the Congress, it's a pleasure to address you. Get him the fuck out of there. He wasn't born here. It's an American Congress. It's an American Senate. Why the fuck are foreigners in there? That's the problem I got with it. It's it
Oh, I
just
just
bothers me.
remembered something.
Mhm.
The first Democratic debate is going to be in 1 week from today.
Oh, good God. Please tell me it's not going to be out here.
It's going to be on the 26th and the 27th because they have so many Democrats running for the president. They have to split into 2 different days.
Goody,
I looked
good.
at there are 19 plus 1 independent on the Democrats running, and 2 Republicans, including Trump.
Who else is running as a Republican?
Someone I hadn't heard of before. I think it was Bill Bullocks. Let me look it up.
It's news to me. I don't understand why anyone's going to wind up,
Weld.
Yeah, I don't know him.
William F. Weld, 73.
Yeah, I have no idea who that
Former
is.
governor of Massachusetts. Former
Yes.
federal prosecutor.
You're still drawing a blank. I don't know who the hell that is. Well, either which way, man. I don't understand why this idiot's going to run. He's going to probably, God forbid, he steals votes from him.
Oh, I guess it was 3 Republicans because 1 fell out.
I'm getting a little bit worried. I'm thinking about it. He's not going to get the nomination unless they're insane. The Republicans are not going to give Trump the nomination. So,
But they're not going to give Trump the nomination?
I said, excuse me. Unless they're insane, I don't think that they're not going to give it to him. You know? Yeah. Sorry for yawning. I'm tired.
Running on the Democrat side, we've got Beto O'Rourke. Bernie Sanders, he's the only independent. Andrew Yang. We got a Castro. And Swalwell made it so far. He's the guy who threatened to use nukes if we don't surrender our guns.
I don't know why the fuck these people. I don't understand how they're able to run.
Because they're sheep. Orange man, bad.
Just, I don't know. These people, it's confounding to me, really. I mean, it's like it's obvious that they don't care about this country. They just want power. That's the reason that they tried to pull the shit that they've been trying to pull down by the border. I mean, fuck. Texas is starting to turn into a blue state. Look at it. It's horrible.
Yeah. Because people were right to flee California, but dumb enough to bring the policies that turned California into what it is.
Maybe that's the reason I've been having so much trouble with Texas, is all the fucking SJWs are down there, apparently. Scooby says the mean words. Deep in the heart of Texas. I don't know, man. I just don't know what it is. It's heartbreaking for me. I thought that Texans were supposed to be made of sterner stuff, man. I mean,
they were. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, I hate saying it. I mean, so many of these guys who I've had beef with, these soy-fed fucks from Texas. It used to be a 10-gallon hat. When the hell did they turn it in for a pacifier? And obviously, I'm not knocking everybody from Texas. I mean, we still got some, good folks down there, strong patriots and whatever. Obviously, you got like Alex Jones from down there, but you got just so many of these soy boy fucks. I mean, it boggles my mind. Yeah, it's like you said, they're putting shit in the water. It's just it is what it is. You know, it's just stupidity that they're gonna try to turn that state blue. I have faith in true Texans. I have faith in real Texans, and I'd like to think that they're not going to let them turn their state. I'd like to think that they're going to fight for their home.
Dallas was lost.
Yeah, it's like when I look at like my home here, and I keep thinking about it. Like, no one fought for New York. Like, I'm pretty much like alone here. Basically, no one wants to fight for this place. Same thing like poor Burnside. That's one of the reasons me and him became so close is because he's fighting for Chicago. No one gives a fuck about Chicago. You know?
Terry gives a fuck about Chicago.
What?
Terry gives a fuck about Chicago.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's because he's there. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like,
something.
Yeah, no one cares about here anymore. They make their movies here. They write their comic books about it. They do their video games about my home. Everything gets blown the fuck up here. Everything, you know, the aliens land here, all that shit. But that's all well and good. Can we concentrate on the real New York? Nah, we can't do that. We're just
I think you'd like Freedom Fighters.
Oh,
It's a video game. It's basically Red Dawn, but in New York.
oh God. Do you know why I loved The Punisher with Thomas Jane so much?
It's in New York.
No, it took place in Tampa.
Why?
It wasn't here. Every friggin' movie's here. Everything. Even Friday the 13th. Oh, okay, let's take him to Manhattan for the 8th one. Why? Why mess with the formula? Well, because it's New York. As a New Yorker, let me just say New York ain't shit. Stop coming to my home. Stop filming stuff. Seriously, go somewhere else. Go to LA. They got palm trees. Seriously, go to San Francisco. You got human shit all over the place and naked people walking around. There you go. It's like Candyland. Why do you want to come here? It frustrates me. And that's part of the thing is I worry about Texas. I don't want to see Texas go the same way as New York because I'll be completely honest. I was looking at one point to get property down there, possibly outside of Houston, like Corpus Christi, somewhere on the water. Ugh. Damn it.
Terry, you talk too much.
Yeah, seriously. Well, what about you, Kelt? I've pretty much been monologuing here, and I haven't talked to you in like 2-3 weeks. So lay it on me. What the hell have you been doing with yourself?
Not much. Tried going out for a walk today. It was hot as hell. Let's see. Not much been happening here.
All right, so let's see. Let's go back to the other stories I have.
Hey, Kelt.
Mm-hmm.
You near any like really good like Civil War battlefields or like any really good monuments or anything like that?
Well, in Naklo, we have a memorial for all the wars that we've been in. Even have a tank up there. I think it's a Patton M60.
Nice. I'm saying, you get some footage. Like, I'm going to go probably this week coming because I got to go to, I'm finally getting tires for the bike. I've been out of tires for like the
Wait, go where?
I'm going to probably go up to the library, get my software for my GoPro because I can't get the software for the GoPro on this piece of shit laptop. I've been waiting to go to I was going to go to the library. I've been trying to go to the library now probably for like 2-3 months. Problem was we had rain for 2 solid months, like end of March into about 2 weeks ago, it rained solid for about 6 to 8 weeks. And when I kept going I went to Target and I went to Walmart looking for for tires for my bike, and because I'm a big guy, I use a big frame bike for whatever reason, and people are gonna sit there and they're gonna scream racism. I don't fucking care. I'm gonna put this extremely plain. You got illegals coming here. Do you know what an illegal Cadillac is? It's a fucking Schwinn Beach cruiser. That's what they do. They go and they buy a Schwinn Beach cruiser, and that's what these people utilize. Because, well, up until this morning, Cuomo gave them all licenses. They couldn't get licenses. So they'd all be on these bikes. Now, that's why I'm saying I'm not being racist when I'm saying that there's a shortage of tires around here because these fucking people buy all of the tires. And they utilize the tires, you know, because they're riding these bikes for everything. Now, I'm not saying anything hateful about him because I don't know if you guys have ever seen when you see an illegal on a bike because he doesn't have a car and he's packed down like a fucking mule or a camel going off to war when they got all the bags on him and all that shit. Fuck, I feel for these people. But again, come into this country legally and you can get a license. But hopefully Cuomo fix that. I'd like it to be where the rest of, you know, if the red states could do me a favor, like let's say Ohio, can you do me a favor, Ohio, since you share a border with us? If our illegals come into your state with our friggin' licenses, yeah, can you arrest them, deport them, and fine New York? Seriously, fine the fuck out of my state, please. Double fine them. You've no idea. There's an organization here in this around here that they have called Make the Road New York.org. And I got hit a few years ago by an illegal. They hit the car. So I'm waiting, and the guy don't speak a word of English, and he goes, oh, I know my rights. Okay, fine, whatever. And so the cops come, and then all of a sudden this woman comes, hands this cop a card, and starts talking to the cop. She brought another illegal and swapped the illegals. This guy had a license, I guess. And the cop basically is sitting there telling me and telling myself, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So that's what they got working here, the Democrats. This is the shit that they do. Make the Road New York will cover for these people, and they will basically, they take them, and the reason they're able to vote all over the place, they actually provide shuttle buses, and they take them to and from the different voting areas to vote. It's an open fucking secret here. This is part of the reason I needed the goddamn camera to begin with. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, they got the wrong fucking impression. I didn't come here to, you know, like make friends and, you know, like stream and become Mr. fucking popularity. I want to expose this shit. That's my main goal. Seriously, that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the reporters are all following her around. Bullshit. I'd rather go talk to her friends. I'm a local. I can pass easy enough. I could just go rolling up into one of their bars and start talking to them. You seriously, you tell me I can't find one of her fat friends with sideburns that no guy will look at, buy the girl a drink, and not know every dirty thing this girl has ever done in her life? Come on. It's not rocket science. That's what it means to be a journalist. You go in there, you dig, you find out the shit, and you expose the truth. You know? That's the thing. You know, that's the thing, man, is they're here trying to destroy this state, and they think that they're funny about it. Nah, you got to go and document this shit. You got to, you know, like, oh God, I can't remember. I can't believe I can never remember this guy's name. And bro, if you ever see this, I'm sorry, I can never remember your name. He's with wearechange.org. He actually exposed Tony Rodham, Hillary Rodham Clinton's brother, the Haiti scheme. He brought it to light about a year or two ago. That they were the Haitian earthquake, that Hillary Clinton's brother stole billions of dollars of money from these people. You know, he had covered that, and there was you got like Tim Pool, and you got what's his name, O'Keefe with Project Veritas.
Yeah, James O'Keefe.
Yeah, now Tim Pool is a fucking leftist, but he's a tolerable leftist. Even more tolerable than him is H.A. Goodman, who I constantly plug H.A. Goodman. But, you know, aside from Goodman, who's a desk jockey, and the rest of them, you know, Tim Pool doesn't do it as much, but they would go out there and they'd pound the pavement, you know, and the same thing with, like, what's her name, Lauren Southern. You know, she'd go out there and she'd do the same thing. I mean, you know, seriously, that's what you got to think of. Like, Like right now, what I'm talking about is just going around your area, like especially since you got the 4th of July coming up. Anything related to patriotism. Plus, it's summertime, so any local events, any local fairs, state fairs are good coverage things. Like I was telling your sister, that's the reason she started doing the fluff pieces down by her. It's just, I don't know, man. I enjoy being a journalist. That's why I try to talk everyone else into doing it too. You know, it's something I think that you could probably enjoy a lot, and it makes me feel good knowing that you can go out there and you can actually make a real change in your community. You
But
know,
for me to be a journalist,
by being a journalist, yeah.
I don't know.
You don't think you can do it?
Well, like if I'm looking for stuff, I probably wouldn't know who to go to.
Well, that's why you do like I was telling your sister. You start with fluff pieces. You go out and you go and you like let's say like I was saying with the war monuments, like with that tank. Shoot a video right then and there. Just I'm using the tank as an example. It could be whatever. And then watch the video right then and there. If you got any skills at it and you watch the video, the first video you shoot, you're gonna hate.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone wants to listen to a stuttering journalist.
Yeah, I don't think you give yourself enough credit. No, seriously, you don't. I've heard you a few times when there's something that lights a fire under your ass. You don't even
Oh,
realize.
yeah.
Seriously, there's been a few topics that we've had on where it's bit you the right way, and you've gone on like a beast. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I told your sister the same thing when she first started streaming with us. She was, a little bit timid, a little bit shy, a little bit awkward, and after about a month or two of like getting used to it and everything, she really got into the swing of it. And then that was it. And now she's doing all these fluff pieces. She's doing interviews, and now she's actually like moved on to like interviewing people on air, like like when we do the stream.
Continues to impress me with who she can bring onto the show.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So,
I said you continue to impress me with who you get onto the show.
Yeah, especially since we got a Deacon Filmation animator on last week. Yeah.
Yeah. And you got Clownfish.
Yep, got Clownfish. I'm still working on the quartering. He's already told me that it's really hard to get him on a stream right now. But I told him I'm just gonna keep throwing him the link until he gets on here.
yeah, I'm still floored about last week. I mean, I've never streamed with an actual animator before. That's the thing that was mind blowing about that was, I mean, this guy actually animates. Not like that shit garbage using like the Microsoft program, whatever it is that any fool can use. I mean, this guy actually sat there and like drew it and painted it. That to me is impressive. I personally cannot be an animator. I do not have the patience to sit there and draw 1,000 pictures that are almost identical, except each one is slightly different because they're supposed to be moving in sequence. I couldn't do that. That to me, you got to have a certain type of mentality. I mean, if you sat there and said to me, I got you a job working for Disney and you have to animate a movie for them, I'd probably start crying. That's the last thing I want. Oh, but Scoob, you're going to get paid a fortune. But it's like a form of torture to me. Writing, on the other hand, like, I shouldn't even like really talk shit about animating itself. I'm just saying, like, the fact that because it's so many times you have to copy the same picture over and over and over. I couldn't do it. It would drive me nuts. I think that's part of the reason that they started to come out with like the cells where they would paint the one picture and then like the parts that are supposed to be moving, they would just switch cells. I think that was probably because of how many cartoonists were going insane in the early days. I mean, it's obvious. Insanity and being a cartoonist go hand in hand, at least from my overall majority experience. The two sets of folks that we've had on as guests, they seem perfectly normal. But the other cartoonists that I've had dealings with, they seem completely fucking insane. So, again, I'd have to go with the majority of my impressions. So it was very pleasant talking to somebody who is a cartoonist that isn't completely out of their mind. That was a very nice and welcome change last week, and I did appreciate that.
It probably helped that he animated your childhood, apparently.
Yeah, oh my God. Bro, you had no idea. I couldn't believe it. He named every cartoon I was going to ask him before I asked. The only one I didn't... The only thing I did not get a chance to ask him was if he worked on any Transformers.
No, he didn't.
Okay, yeah, so...
Well, he worked on the original ones.
That's the only ones that matter?
Yeah, he worked on those, not like the 90s, 2000s Beast Wars bullshit.
So he worked on the ones with Frank Welker and with...
Yes.
Was it Peter Cullen, I want to say?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Just wow. That was my childhood, my God. You have no idea. It's really messed up. But my father, may he rest in peace, it was like it was just his favorite outfit back in the 80s. I remember he used to wear it all the time. He had these blue coverall bottoms and this red sweatshirt that he always used to wear. It was his favorite outfit. And his navy blue baseball hat that had a Department of Navy shield in the middle of it because he was a UTT in Korea, USS Valley Forge. And he would wear his black aviator sunglasses with the gold trim on because they were the presidential edition ones. And I only remember because I had to hear about these fucking glasses. But anyway, the reason I'm pointing out this outfit is my father also drove a cement mixer. And that was for, when he worked for the union for the 282. He had the fishing boat, that was his real passion. He was identified as a fisherman, but he was a cement mixer driver. But anyway, when Optimus Prime first came out when I was a kid, because he had this, he basically was dressed like my father and he turned into an 18-wheeler. I just had immediately developed such an affinity towards Optimus Prime because of that outfit, that my father used to wear and driving the cement mixer. And then Optimus Prime is literally dressed like my father in the cartoon. And he was a truck. It was just, I guess, because in the time, let me see, I think Transformers came into America.
Your father dressed like a robot?
His clothing was actually color-coded almost identically like what Optimus Prime used to wear. He used to wear dark navy blue pants all the time. The coverall, the Cartwright, that was the name of it, I think. Carhartt. It was either Carhartt or, I think it was Carhartt. And it was, the bottoms were this navy blue material, and he would always wear this red Carhartt sweatshirt and his baseball hat. He literally had the same color scheme as Optimus Prime, and I never realized it till years later when I'm looking at a picture of him, and one of my friends says, "Wow, your dad's just like Optimus Prime." And I said, "Holy shit, that must be why I gravitated towards Optimus Prime so much when I was a kid." You know what it was, too? I want to point this out. It was actually part of the reason I'm being long-winded about this. Here's the thing. Transformers and G.I. Joe. If you guys think about this for a second, what is the one thing about those two cartoons that I can't even think of any other cartoons at the time? No, you know what? I take it back. There were other cartoons at the time, but just in general, there was a theme with cartoons of the time, and those two exemplify them, that you don't see cartoons anymore. And what I'm getting at is this. Aside from superhero cartoons, cartoons back in the day always were about adults normally. They didn't usually have child characters. obviously you had things that were like talking animals and shit, but I'm talking like ones that were supposed to take place in like the real world, like those two cartoons
In the 80s?
in the 80s. Oh, most of the cartoons were almost always about adults. Kids
Was it
didn't
G.I.
watch.
Joe about adults?
Right, G.I. Joe, Transformers, like even the Disney characters. The Disney characters all had jobs. They all had cars and bills and shit. It's only recently, like in the past, I'd say 20 years, that all of these cartoons had started getting where they were geared around child characters. It's just something I thought about
Thundercats
myself.
had kids.
All of the whole cast is main. I'm saying like,
No.
yeah, I'm talking about the majority cast. Like, I'm gonna sound like a real film nerd here, but if you look at the Rugrats cartoon, I always thought that was actually, my sisters always said the same thing. It was brilliantly done, and as the children had this childish shit going on, the childlike
Adventure
part of it,
Quest?
huh?
Wasn't that from the 80s?
I don't remember. But I was saying, if you think about it, like if you look at Rugrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
The kids were all doing their baby shit and whatever, and then you have the adults, and the adults were doing, like, when I say really adult themed things, I don't mean obviously explicit sexual shit, but it wasn't for what kids would be interested in. And then I'm watching it with my nieces, like reruns a few years ago. I'm watching reruns of Rugrats, and I'm sitting here like, holy shit, listening to the adults talk. I'm like, I never realized that it's actually entertaining. It was made to entertain the adults, and the parts that were about the kids I couldn't fucking stand.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, and I always thought that juxtaposition was something that really didn't get enough attention, because that was a really brilliantly written show, is what I'm getting at. It was just, it's one of those things. I think it flew under the radar specifically because of what it dealt with. It was just a very well done show, and it doesn't get enough credit, I feel.
What I loved was the fact he worked on She-Ra, Gem, and I found out the next day Rainbow Bright.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, oh my god!
I didn't get to ask.
And he worked for Disney.
Did he work on Care Bears? I didn't get to ask him that.
I'll ask him now.
Oh, cool! Thank you.
Give me a second.
Because seriously, if he actually, like, if he had any hand in the Care Bear stare, seriously, yo, big shout out to him. Oh, I loved that when I was a kid. They'd all line up shoulder to shoulder. They'd be like, Care Bears, stare! And they'd stare at them, and their eyes would light up, and then all of a sudden their chest insignias would light up, and they'd hit them with this friggin' light that would shoot from their chest insignias.
Was there a bear that had your eyes?
Yeah.
Hey, you caught on to it immediately this time.
Yeah, no, I always catch on to it. It's just I usually sigh and shake my head. That's what takes so long. I was too tired to do all that. I know I don't remember the thing's name. I think it was Tenderheart.
All right, I sent him a message. I don't know when he'll respond.
Okay, cool.
I mean, he's about 4 hours behind.
Oh yeah, he's on the West Coast,
7
right?
p.m. there. About 7 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
So, I mean, for all I know, because we didn't ask his age out of, because we're not rude. But, I mean, he's been working in this industry since at least the early 80s.
I'm gonna guess because I asked him about the Star Trek cartoon, and he said it was before his time. So, and I'm guessing from when those cartoons started and when he said he started, and I'm going to use my own age as to figure out from the starting point. I'm guessing he's got to be.
He says, yes, I was a storyboard artist on the TV series.
That's so awesome. That really is awesome. Yeah, I'm guessing he's got to be hovering around the 60 mark. If I was going to guess an age. Only because he said because he was young when he started. He said, I think the first gig he ever got, wasn't he said he was 14?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's one of the things. He didn't sound old and decrepit, but then when I found out that he started that young. So.
I told him you said that's awesome. He says thanks.
That's very cool. He was an awesome old guy. I liked him. He really was. It was funny. I thought he was going to get upset when he was asking me about my avatar. You know? No, seriously. I was like, oh, shit. Because, this avatar throws everybody at first, and I have to give them the long-winded version of why I have this avatar.
Luckily, we had that discussion before the show.
Yeah. I didn't want to, eat up too much airtime going into it. Damn it. See, I know it's contagious. Sorry.
We didn't get started till 9:40. So I figure we'll end at 11:20.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I just haven't talked to the two of you in a while. I mean, I talked to you a lot, Tara, but I haven't talked to you in a while, Kel, so I don't mind. I enjoy talking to you.
Same here.
Well, you know what it is. I got to definitely talk to you now because we got to iron out everything for when I come down there so we can do the whole Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas thing and rent a convertible.
Wait, what about Las Vegas?
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? You remember the movie?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, cool. Tara, me and your brother are going to do the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas thing, except we're going to go ripping around down in Bama.
Okay.
Cool.
What's this about a convertible?
My
so
car.
You remember that movie? They rented a convertible in the movie.
Yeah, well, you don't have to rent one.
Oh, he has one?
Yeah.
Hard top.
Nice. Oh, nice. You'd probably want to rent one anyway, though. Just take my word for it.
No, he likes his car, and he doesn't like renting cars.
Well, then I'll rent it because you're gonna trust me. Things tend to get a little bit wild.
Yeah, I'd rather not risk my Argo.
I remember once
All right.
I'm with my fraternity, and they got pulled over in a convertible. And I don't know where the fuck they got one in Utica, but they had a 6-foot cactus, they had a kiddie pool, and they had a nanny goat.
Okay, so you guys were talking about Cortez earlier, right?
Yeah.
Jewish group slam Ocasio-Cortez for comparing U.S. border control to concentration camps. There is a long tradition of members of Congress saying dumb things. Nevertheless, this comment belongs in the Hall of Fame. It's not anti-Semitic. It's too sloppy for that, historian Gil Troy told JNS. June 18th, 2019. Outrage from pro-Israel and Jewish groups growing at U.S. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for her remarks on Monday on her Instagram account about the United States running concentration camps on our southern border in reference to the Trump administration's policy regarding illegal immigration. AOC should ask Holocaust survivors and ex-GIs who liberated Dachau and what that carnal house was like. Rabbi Abraham Cooper, the SWC's Associate Dean and Director of Global Social Action for the leading international Jewish human rights, told JNS she's insulting victims of genocide. AOC and others should stop demonizing Trump as a Nazi and instead forge bipartisan to fix disastrous humanitarian situations at our southern border, he continued. Otherwise, all members of Congress will share responsibility for failing to stop the suffering and even deaths. In her social media remarks, the freshman congresswoman said she wants to talk to those who are concerned enough with humanity to say that never again means something. The fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice in the home of the free is extraordinarily disturbing, and we need to do something about it, she continued. Now, I saw the images that she posted of what are supposed to be concentration camps. All they are fucking refugee camps. That's literally it. They weren't walking around in, rags. They were wearing clothes, nice clothes. They weren't chained up. They hadn't been covered in lye. They hadn't had their heads shaved for fear of lice. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Come on.
Well, she says to herself she's more concerned about being morally correct than factually correct.
Well,
she's an idiot.
Dumb bitch. Cortez warned, we are losing to an authoritarian and fascist presidency. Okay. You guys know I can't stand the orange potato.
But he's warming up to you. Don't deny it.
He has every right to deny asylum because they're not going through the proper channels to gain entry. They just want to walk across and say, yay, asylum. And he hasn't really done anything yet that is authoritarian or fascist. I mean, he signed a bill where even the fucking people in Congress can't fuck with Social Security anymore. So, no, that's one of the things that I had responded to Dean Cain about, was that was one of the two things he had done that I actually thought was good. I can't remember what the other thing is right now.
Well, for the Democrats, if you're right of Stalin, you're Hitler.
I mean, I don't like the fact that he's pretty much buddies with Putin and Kim Jong-un. But, he's trying to be a businessman in that regard.
Well, I'd rather not be at war with Russia, which is almost a guarantee with Clinton.
Well, you got to realize Clinton would have been a shell game with her across the board. Like, what she would have done is she would have started the quote unquote war with Russia. It would have been more likely than not. It would have been more arms dealing under the table. They were sending all of this stuff over there. It would have been like there's no war going on over there. They were just unloading the shit and selling it to the Russians. It's like there was that movie with Dustin Hoffman, Wag the Dog. I'm telling you, Clinton's Huh?
What movie?
Wag the Dog.
Never heard of it.
It came out in the 90s. It was, what you call it? It was basically the media faked a war for ratings. Yeah, I know it sounds funny, but it was legit.
So, yeah, she's just a stupid bitch. They are not concentration camps. Honestly, I
If
think-
those are concentration camps, then so is prison.
do what?
If those are concentration camps, so is prison.
And prison is technically a concentration camp. I would agree with that. Except they still serve them better food. And a lot of them have cable, air conditioning.
Healthcare.
Cortez says, I don't use those words lightly. I don't use those words just to throw bombs. I use that word because that's what an administration that creates concentration camps is. A presidency that creates concentration camps is fascist. And that's very difficult to say that. To have refugee camps set up because of the mob of South Americans swarming up here is not wrong to do. He could have just said, let them, and build their own camps in the middle of the fucking desert. I don't care. But no, it was nice enough to say, yeah, go, set up some refugee camps and we'll see about letting them in. But one by one and on a case-to-case basis. Okay. I'm good with that. So,
Doing talk too much.
Oh no, I'm just actually listening to you two talk for once.
yeah, it's just, she seriously needs to grow up. I'm wondering if she even completed high school, maybe college, before she got in office.
No, she was she? Just a bartender, right? I know she had her degree, but I mean, let's be completely honest. I don't know. You both went to college, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not as hard as you thought it was going to be, was it? I don't know. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. I went there. I felt it was a giant fucking daycare center.
Oh, funny that you mentioned that. Have you heard what happened in Oberlin?
What? What happened?
Okay, there's this bakery, really old bakery. It survived the American Civil War, the Great Depression. Well, there were two black college students who were caught shoplifting there, and they were caught. The cops were called on them. They pled guilty. Well, the college, Oberlin University, said that the bakery was racially profiling them, and they actually organized protests against this bakery. And the bakery sued them for defamation because there was a lot of lies in the protests. They were actually handing out pamphlets. The bakery won the lawsuit. They were awarded $44 million because these protests wrecked their century-old business. And the college said that they did this because they were concerned that the students would actually throw a tantrum and just dump the bakery's food on the floor and stomp on it. They compared it to daycare. And during the trial, Oberlin offered a few thousand to the bakery. but they originally won 11 million, but after the punitive hearing, it could go higher. The college decided to publicly criticize in a mass email to jurors, and then they were given the maximum penalty, and it jumped up from 11 to 44 million.
Now, who was being penalized?
Oberlin University.
I was trying to take care of something.
Uh,
They were
because-
protecting. You said something about people robbing a bakery.
Yeah, 2 black Oberlin students were caught shoplifting at a century-old bakery.
Mm-hmm.
They were arrested. They pled guilty, but the other students at the college said that the bakery was racially profiling them, and they were holding protests. And the college was actually aiding them, handing out pamphlets that were defamatory against the bakery.
That's
For their
illegal
business.
for a college to do.
Huh?
That's illegal for a college to do.
Yeah, and that's why they lost. Oberlin has to pay 44 million to the bakery.
Good.
But and that was after the punitive hearing, because they originally fined 11 million to pay to the bakery, and the college decided, in their infinite wisdom, decide to publicly criticize the jurors, and the entire country was watching to see what would happen. So they were fined the maximum 44 million.
See, that was their stupidity.
Mm-hmm. But the college said that they did this because they were worried that the students would basically throw a food fight on their campus.
Okay, so
Comparing
they
it to a
were worried
daycare.
that the students would pack their shit and leave.
No, they were actually worried that the students would get.
No, they can have the students arrested for rioting and sue the students. Therefore, suing very rich parents. No, what they were afraid of was the students taking mommy and daddy's major big bucks and leaving.
I think this is what they said under oath.
I don't care what they said under oath. This is how colleges work. Why do you? I've brought this up before. Why do you think UF allowed Richard Spencer to come here? Because he threw big bucks at them.
And no one has been sued in Evergreen.
Well, no.
Well, no, the
because
college was
everything
sued by
everything
by,
that
Brett
happened was
Weinstein.
done legally.
But the college has yet, huh?
I said with the Richard Spencer thing, everything that happened was done legally.
But in Evergreen, the students took over the college and effectively kidnapped the staff.
And they should be tried for it.
It's not going to happen.
The school should expel them. Make sure they put them on the do not allowed to attend your school list, because there is one. I promise you, there is one.
The president of that college is cut.
He's probably fucking a couple of the students. Wouldn't surprise me. That's not uncommon in a college. I mean, I promise you, if something like that were to happen here at UF, luckily, the college is smart enough to be like, okay, we're expelling those 2 students because they were charged and convicted, and we don't want to have to pay the bakery. They can pay the bakery. That's not our problem. I'm glad that the UF is smart like that. Unlike this other college that was a dumb fucker. Everyone that was there that decided to do that. UF, they'll let you hand out whatever pamphlets you want, as long as it's not inciting violence, hate, racism, anything like that. Now, they'll allow for a speaker to be there as long as they're paid enough. All right, it's 5 minutes till. I'm having a hard time staying awake.
Yeah, same here. I hate saying it. We're going to have to start doing these streams a little bit earlier.
Probably.
So, Gelt, that means get your ass here earlier.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all. Take care.
Bye.